This video on storage systems is going to be quite lengthy, so I'm going to break this up into multiple videos. Let's talk about storage. Storage is another one of those things that is not entirely plug and play. Yeah, I can plug in a USB drive and probably use it right away, but there's a lot that I can do to it that has to be manually set up. And many of the drives, such as the ones built into the machine, I would have to manually set up. This is all done through the disk management console. This is one of those MMC consoles. I'm just going to type disk management, diskmgmt.msc, and this will bring up my disk manager. Here's the MMC console with my disk manager in it. At the top of this you see volumes or partitions. Now there's a difference between volume and partition, which I will get to later, but for now I'm going to use them interchangeably. Down here at the bottom you see physical disks. So disk 0 is a physical disk, disk 1 is a physical disk, and if I keep going down here I have a disk 2, I have a disk 3, I have a is called a CD-ROM 0, which is actually a DVD drive, and a CD-ROM 1, which is another DVD drive, actually a Blu-ray player. Alright, so I've got several disks on here. I've got, let's see, 0, 1, 2, 3. So there's 4 disks that are hard drives, and 2 disks that are DVD players. Over here on the right hand side you see the partitions or the volumes. So these are what we call logical disks. I can take a physical disk and I can divide it up into more than one logical disk, and I can give each logical disk a number, a letter if I choose to. Here I've got one logical disk, so this entire disk is my data drive that I use for documents and so forth, and this is my D drive, and then my disk 1 actually has my C drive on it that I boot to, and it's got a couple of partitions here that don't have any drive letters, but Windows uses these. These are used by the Windows system during booting and a few other things such as encryption and so forth, but they don't have to have drive letters, as you can see. But these, I could certainly give more drive letters to any one of these things. I could partition them up, and they look to my system like separate disk drives, even though they're the same physical drive. The next one I have down here is a USB drive that's plugged into my system, and then I have another USB drive that's plugged into my system, and down here I have a DVD. This is an Ubuntu DVD in my DVD player, and then another disc here. This is an educational disc on programming, and it's in my Blu-ray player down here. So I've got several disks here on my system. These are the physical disks, and these are the logical disks, or what we call partitions or volumes. Again, we'll get to what that means later on. Alright, now in the next section I'm going to begin talking about some of these terms and sort of unraveling what some of these things mean.